Hey everyone, it's Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and I'm coming to you from my Microtel Inn & Suites, just a few moments from the Denver airport. Yesterday was a really interesting day for me, and I kind of wanted to reflect and just give a few insights and thoughts about it. I ended up staying here in Denver overnight, which was unplanned, but there's a little backstory to it, and it was impactful for me. So again, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about it. I had a layover because I was traveling. I got dropped off at the Portland airport, and then I was brought over, or I flew over, of course, brought over by plane. Thank you, Southwest. And I got to the Denver airport, and there was kind of just this gloom about for me. We came off a great weekend of having a really good battle on both the FPO and MPO side. Of course, the MPO side even a little crazier with the playoff. Spoiler alert. And it just kind of felt weird, There was a little tension and some oddities with the Adam Hammis situation and the cameraman from the Disc Golf Pro Tour and then Smashbox, and there was just kind of this loom that was that I was feeling. But shortly after being there during my layover, I started doing some editing and getting some things together. And at one point, I ran into a woman who she was very confused, I guess you could say. She had no idea how any of it worked, whether it was Southwest. She said she's never really flown before, but she just became a grandmother for the first time, and she was super excited to get to Tucson. And she was leaving from here, so she had never flown before. So I gave her the quick rundown, and then later she was still grabbing a beverage. She thought she had plenty of time, and I heard last call taking place to get on her plane, not for the beverage. And I had to go and run and grab her and tell her she had to go get on her plane. And then I ran over to the the gate and told them to hold up for a few moments while she was closing out her tab so that she wouldn't miss her plane. And it made me feel really good. And I just thought, how exciting is that for a woman to, be going to visit her grandchild for the first time. And then a few minutes later, as we were all kind of milling around, there was another gentleman, and I was anxiously seeking another place to plug in. And there's a lot of chairs there where you can plug into the chair with a regular outlet. However, none of them were working. I tried literally a dozen of them, and clearly they just weren't working. And so then I ran over by a pillar where there was an outlet, and I saw another gentleman plugged into it and then unplugging, and he went back and forth. And I said, "Does this outlet work either?" And he said, I don't know if it's the outlet or I don't know if it's my charging block. I'm not sure. And I said, "Oh, well, I've got a portable charger you can use, so you can get your iPhone charging. I don't have iPhone stuff, but he could plug into that." And he then goes on to tell me, he goes, I don't mean to dump this on you, but I just don't have all my stuff. I just found out that my mom had a stroke." And this gentleman was probably in his 50s, and he was rushing. He said, "I grabbed everything I could to run out." And so I said, "Yeah, no problem." He said he had to catch his plane in a few minutes, but he needed all the charge he could because he had nothing else to be able to Uber over to the hospital, and he didn't have all the details, and he didn't even have everything he needed. It was very hasty that he got things put together. And so, of course, I lent him that. We had a conversation. He went on to tell me a few more details about him and his mom and their relationship, and it really hit me. And that really hit me because I lost my mom a few years ago, and I just kept thinking, how lucky is this guy that he still has his mom? Of course, so many other people out there do, but many of us don't. And I couldn't imagine what was going through his mind as he was trying to, run out of his house and get ready and grab the first flight. And so ultimately, I handed him the power pack, and I said, "Just take it. You need this." And it's like, for some reason, things weren't done at the airport even after that. And I wasn't walking around trying to, seek out issues or problems or solutions by any means. But the next thing you know, the announcement is made that the flight that's going to Midway, which is one of Chicago's airports, the one that Southwest goes to primarily, they don't fly to the other one, that there was weather and the flight was canceled. And then there was this massive rush of people that had come over, and they were all lining up at the gate that we were supposed to be at. And interestingly enough, earlier in the day when I first got there, I said, how many seats are available on the plane? And they said, there's about 20 or so. And that's another story for another day. I like to figure that out because then I position myself accordingly. But anyway, and all these people were here, and I just sat next to the gate and heard, story after story. People needed to get to Chicago because or get to Milwaukee because it was so close to Chicago. And, some guy that had an interview in the morning, and it was so crazy to hear all of these challenges people were having. Nobody loves a delay in travel. And at a certain point, the gate had said, we're interested in people volunteering to stand down. They didn't know exactly how long at first, but volunteering for people to stand down. And I thought, no, I need to get back. I've got editing to do. I've got a bunch of things to do. And then they kind of had a second call, and I think one or two people kind of gingerly walked up. And then as I decided, well, I could be here. I just need to edit anyway. So whether I'm doing it in a hotel or if I'm doing it in an airport, it really doesn't matter. So I ultimately got up there. They did offer a voucher, and they said that they would take care of things, and they would already get me rebooked on a similar flight for the next day, which is today. And I don't know if I have much else to say to that other than the fulfillment that I got in a number of opportunities to be helpful. And again, wasn't seeking out any of them, but it just felt like maybe that was around me. I don't know why. This brand new grandmother, this gentleman that was going to visit his mom, and he was on a different plane, and then all of these people that had things that I felt were just so much more urgent than what I had. And of course, I want to get back. I've been gone on the road. And I want to see my family. I want to see friends. I want to get back and get back into my routine for the 8 or 10 days before I turn around and come back out to Portland. But there was more to it. There was a bigger calling, and I don't have a spiritual message. I don't have a karma message or anything of that nature. I just wanted to express what it meant and how great it was to just be serving to a few other people for that day. And I know we try to do it our best in our life with so many different situations and applications, and whether that's letting someone merge without getting upset, or that's lending somebody the dollar when they come up short at the cash register, whatever the act may be, it doesn't matter. But the fulfillment that I got out of being helpful to these people yesterday is something that was so impactful, and I think it came at just the right time to have the weekend that we did, and to have these mixed emotions as I was trying to leave during my layover. It seemed to calm everything and make it so much better. So that's all I'm going to share with you guys. I'm still in the same outfit as I was in the picture yesterday. I appreciate anyone that reached out, and I apologize if I made it sound that I was, it just completely disheveled or out of sorts, or, in dire straight needs. I wasn't last night. This all came about, and it came about for some reason or another, and I'm glad that it did. So of course, as always, it's longer winded than I anticipated, but those are some of the thoughts. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. Go out, love one another, be helpful to someone, no matter how big or small. Because not only will it be great for them, but I guarantee you it'll help you feel better as well. All right, guys, look for some videos to release in the next few days, and then I'll be back out in Portland bringing you FPO coverage. Thanks. Love you guys. See ya.